guys, it's Kendra from Crafty Kendra. Today I'm going to show you how to make this card. This card isn't the traditional card size. It fits into the same size envelope that you would get most of your dreaded bills in. But the plus side to using a card this size, which finished measures 9 inches by 4, is that you can fit a 3.5 by 5 inch photo inside. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to do is bring in a piece of early espresso, and this piece measures 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And what we're going to do is use the Believe greeting from the Snowflake Soiree stamp set and our Versamark ink. We're just going to stamp it towards the bottom of the paper, closer to the right side. Okay, after we've stamped that, I'm going to bring in some white embossing powder. There we go. I would have used my embossing buddy first, but he has run away. So anyway, so I have the white embossing powder on there, and we're going to go ahead and use our heat tool to heat it up. Normally I would use my cutting pad, but I use it for something else, so it's not available at the moment. Alright. Now that we have that embossed, we're going to set it aside. Next thing we're going to do is bring in some scrap Whisper White. And this is the leftover piece from the card we made yesterday. I'm also going to bring in 2 ornament stamps from the Ornamental Keepsakes stamp set, along with my early espresso ink pad and my Lucky Limeade ink pad. Going to stamp this longer one in early espresso. Going to stamp the other stamp in the Lucky Limeade. That one didn't turn out too pretty, so we're just going to flip our paper over and stamp it again. Now, on our card you'll notice that there are 3 ornaments. This ornament is actually the leftover ornament from my project from yesterday. So it is one of the largest of the Ornamental Keepsakes ornaments, and it is stamped in real red on Very Vanilla. And all I've done is I've run it through the Big Shot using the Holiday Ornaments framelits. Alright, I went ahead and earlier I ran two of the same ornaments through the Big Shot using the framelits. And I just used Post-its to hold them in place. So now I have my 3 ornaments. And what we're going to do is, taking our snail, we're going to flip all the ornaments over and attach a little snail at the top. And what this is going to do is hold some Lucky Limeade baker's twine in place. So I just have a piece of baker's twine here, and I'm just going to make it into 3. They don't have to be very long because they're not, as you can see from our card, they're not very far from the top. And place one end on the tape. Okay. After I've done that, I'm going to bring in some Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm just using the edging. I'm going to cut some off. Alright, cut just little pieces that would be about the size of half a regular dimensional. I'm just going to set that right over top our baker's twine. And I'm going to put on the smaller ones 1 dimensional in the center. And since I'm using the edging, it's really long. And on our larger one, I'm going to use 2. Okay, and keeping the backers on, we're just going to set them aside. I'm going to bring in a piece of Designer Series paper from the Candlelight Christmas paper pack. This piece measures 6 3/4 by 3 3/4, and what we're going to do is on one side we're going to come in about a 1/4 of an inch, and we're just going to, keeping our fingers really close together, just going to rip it off just like that. Next thing we're going to do is bring in some ribbon. First piece of ribbon that I have is the cotton ribbon. And what we're going to do is just fold one end of it in half, cutting from the points to the fold apart. I'm just going to make it have a banner. Then we're going to bring in another piece of ribbon, which is the stitched satin ribbon in primrose petals, and we're just going to give it an angled cut. Okay. And just attach some snail to the back. You don't have to go all the way to the points. Okay. Bring it up about 3/4 of an inch. Just going to press it down and flip it over and press the back on the other side. Going to do the same thing with our satin ribbon. We're going to set it we're going to put it on top of the cotton ribbon with just a little border showing beneath it. You'll see there's just a little border. Push the tail end of it on the back. I'm going to flip this piece over and attach some dimensionals. Gonna want one in each corner, and I set one on top of that ribbon to keep it down, and two in the center. Go ahead and remove the backers. Starting with our largest ornament, we're going to remove its backers. Position it where we would like it to be. Then we're going to bring in the ornament that is stamped in Early Espresso. With a little bit of space in between it and the real red ornament. Going to bring in our last ornament in Lucky Limeade. And it is going to sit slightly on top of the other two. Just like that. With you being able to see your little baker twine tails, you're just going to put a little piece snail, and then making sure your string is straight, you're just going to put it around the top, just like that. Now I'm going to bring in our card base. Our card base is primrose petals, and it measures, and you can't see it all, it's not going to fit all on the screen, but it measures 9 inches by 8, scored at 4. Just going to fold it in half. Bringing in our piece that we embossed with the word believe, just going to flip it over and put some snail on the back and give it matted evenly on the right hand side. I'm going to bring in our other layer. Oh. Sorry, I guess I didn't put the believe over quite enough. Alright, and you can see that I have a little paper covering up the bee on my believe. So what I'm going to do is just tear a little bit more of the paper off. There we go. I'm going to bring in my little cutting board and show you how I did the inside. What I did is using just scrap piece of cardstock, I cut a piece that measures 5 inches by 3.5, and then I angled 2 of the corners. And then I centered it where I wanted it, and using a hobby knife, I cut along the slitted edge, and I just extended my cut past the edges of the piece of cardstock so that I know a piece of paper will slide in there. I'm not going to show you how to do that because my hobby blade is really dull. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my other piece, which is the piece that you get to write on. This piece is a piece of Very Vanilla. It measures 3 3/4 by 3 1/4, and I just sponge the edges with my sponge dauber using crumb cake ink. And attach using snails. Okay. And then you would have your picture there. But this is my project for you guys today, and it's all finished. I hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll stay tuned for more projects to come later this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and that's all I have for you. Thanks for watching.